All right, all right. We are back this week. It is February 6th, 2013. This is TOA Media Live, and I'm back with Hated and Nam. We'll jump right into tonight's topics. Tonight, we're going to talk about everyone's live streams on the site. I'm sure you've noticed how many of them have popped up the last few days. Really proud of all the TOA supporting that. I guess, Hated, if you don't mind, remind me everybody that's got the streams again. I can think of most of them, but I know you've done a lot of the work getting them up.
I know Jack has one. We have Shaz that has one. Snooky has one. I have one. Rabbit has one. And they're actually all on one forum page to help us keep it organized and be able to see everyone that's live. It was getting a little clouded on the main forum page, so that's why we had to move it. But we hope to see that grow, and the video you're seeing now kind of just gives you some information about broadcasting directly from Black Ops 2, which is really sweet. This is something new that they haven't done before, so get involved with that, and hopefully you guys can actually get in and get your own Twitch.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed is how quickly everybody got on it and started getting feeds up. And to me, that's really cool. Like when I'm sitting at work or something, that's been really fun for me to sit there and actually be able to watch what people are doing. And I can sit there and make fun of people without actually having them hear me make fun of them and things like that. It's been really fun on that end. When you set up a live feed, I haven't actually set mine up on the Xbox yet, so I can't speak too much to there. I kind of have an idea what it takes on the PC. When you set one up, is it a long process on there? Is it is there you have to have any kind of knowledge, or is it pretty much you just click a button and it fires up?
Well, I know I've done this since you guys have been playing PC so much. For the Twitch TV now, it's super simple. You just go to the multiplayer homepage and scroll down. It's live stream or stream button. Then you click on that. Then you click either YouTube or Twitch, and you click that, connect to your account, wait for like 3 minutes because it takes a while to connect. But after that, then you're streaming everything. It even does voices. So, and then it just streams it. It does not record or anything. There's nothing to maintain there. Just streams right from your console. You don't need a computer either. Straight to Twitch TV. It's a little more complicated if you have an external like PDR box, but it's still not super complicated. But the way it's built in now, it's super simple.
So pretty much, I mean, you like say you what you're saying is you don't have to have any real knowledge. It's basically built into it. One thing that actually I have had a couple people say something about the last week or two about this with the Twitch thing, and something I've been kind of researching is the amount of traffic that people get, and how some people have even generated that into like I don't want to use the term profitable, but it has become a money generating thing because obviously it's like any other TV station. If you get enough people watching, people will pay for advertising spots and things like that. So that's one thing that I've been talking to a couple people about is, if we get enough of these live feeds going, there's actually potential for people to want to advertise like on a regular TV station, or like a billboard type advertising and stuff. So, is that something you can implement on the Xbox very easy, or is that, like how Hated is actually using the media Twitch channel right now to put different videos and things up while he's doing it? Can you do that through the Xbox, or is it pretty much strictly what Call of Duty will play? That's pretty much all you can stream, correct?
The easy way through Twitch is just Call of Duty, and you can't record or save your videos for later. But yeah, I mean, you'll just put them up on your webpage, and if you get enough people watching them and views, I don't see why you couldn't get noticed for that. But I mean, if you want to continue to do this for either any other game on any other platform or record, then yeah, you'll need to invest a little bit.
Yeah, and it's still not that bad though. Even if you want to invest, I mean, I spent I think like $30 or something to get the 3 month subscription to XSplit. XSplit's really easy to use. That's what we're using to show this video. It's real easy, and like you said, I mean, if you get views, it's a huge business now. I mean, YouTube is the new way. I mean, people aren't going to look at games on the TV, they're going on YouTube. So yeah, it's a big market, and I think you can really make some money. I mean, that's what a lot of people go for, but um, for me, it's a hobby, and I know a lot of the people in TOA is going to use it as a hobby, and hopefully they see that, and we can actually, build on a bigger community of streamers.
Well, it's funny you actually say that because I was reading an article the other day when I was researching for some stuff to talk about during the show, and I actually didn't copy any links or anything like that to show anybody because I kind of brushed it off. But now that we're on the topic, that was one thing I was reading about was how many people are using like alternative viewing now because of how cable bills have went up so high and things like that. How many people are watching YouTube and Twitch, and things like that for their entertainment now? And it's one of those things that hadn't really dawned on me before I actually read the article, but it's actually a whole different form of entertainment. And I've caught myself like on Twitch, instead of watching TV shows or playing games myself, I've actually caught myself for several minutes up to an hour or two sitting here just watching other people play, and seeing what they're doing. So that's actually one good point with TOA. We could always build this up into a entire media platform where you could literally come in and have all forms of entertainment instead of paying for cable or looking for alternative things to watch. You could you come to the page and see it right there. So that's actually a really good point. I hadn't really thought about it that way, but I guess that actually is a possible thing to do.
Yeah, and I mean, personally, and don't tell anyone. I watch this during work almost every day. I like to just go on and see what I'm missing, basically what I'm missing when I'm at work. So I mean, a lot of people do that, and that's
A lot of people do that.
it's a pretty big market. So
So it sounds like it's a good stress reliever for you. And it doesn't sound like it's your alternative entertainment, and so you don't go bite somebody's head off.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, see, that guy gets killed instantly too. What the heck?
Yeah, see, that's what I watch it for. I watch it to see what not to do, just as much as I watch it for what I need to do. I mean, to be honest with you, and don't take that in the wrong context. I'm not saying I watch all the TOA for that reason because some guys on there make me look bad, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting now. I mean, when you really get to think about it, all the possibilities that could be done with it. And now that they're making it this easy, that's the other thing about it. They're making it so easy to do by implementing it into the Xbox. I can't help but wonder what they're going to do, next. If it's going to be a universal thing where it'll be in the Xbox dashboard and you can stream anything you're playing,
Right.
things like that. A lot of possibilities there.
I mean, with all the video features online like Netflix and Hulu, I mean, I personally don't pay for the cable bill, but if I would have to, I wouldn't pay for cable. I mean, what is that? Hulu is $8 a month, and you
Yep.
can get it for free if you don't want to watch it on like tablet to your Xbox or something, and you get all the TV shows anyway.
Right.
And so it's like $8 a month instead of however much you pay for your cable just for that alone. I mean, Twitch is free to watch, and Netflix is another like $8. So I mean, just between all that, you have all your media that you don't need off of your cable box.
Right. Saying you could be a severe tight ass like me and feel like $8 is too much for what you get, and you don't even have to pay for any of it. You just sit there and watch Twitch. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not really that tight, but I am a proud Netflix subscriber and Hulu. But
No discs, no discs.
yeah, no disc, none of that mess. But I don't know. It's just like I say, to me, what you can represent by doing a live feed is, as Byron has posted on the forums about how we could actually stream practice, and that way, if somebody's at work and they can't be there to actually play, if they really got into TOA to the point where they were concerned about practice and making sure they were in tune with everything that's going on, like they should be, hint, hint, they can actually, sit there and watch a Twitch feed and actually feel like they were at practice and know everything that was said.
I mean-
Go ahead.
Sorry. Like that would be great for like some ideas of having like teaching people maps and like run throughs of maps. I mean, even if we could put that initially up one day and then have it also be recorded, so you could always go back in. It's like, oh, I need a little bit of help on this map, this particular map. You can just go back and watch people say, you should go down this corridor. Everyone goes down here, so just keep an eye out behind you, or whatever that map has, and it just have a quick refresher at any time. That'd be a great idea.
Yeah, that really could be something that could pay huge dividends for the people that can't be there all the time or the people that work second shift and things like that. One thing too, we're talking about Black Ops 2 here a little bit and how they can do all that. Did you guys see where they're actually hosting a $1 million tournament? Activision is hosting it for Black Ops 2.
They're just laughing at other people now. It's like, ha, we have so much money. We can give millions of dollars away in these tournaments, but
I didn't actually get on there and read the fine details because I know I wouldn't sniff the first dollar of the million, much less the whole million. So I didn't even really read deep into it. But actually, what you said was my initial thought when I saw it was it's getting to the point now where it's pretty much Call of Duty and everybody else. I mean, just to be completely frank about it, they are setting the standards of what gaming is right now. Even as big as Halo was in the last 3 or 4 years, it pales in comparison to the popularity of Call of Duty.
I mean, we touched this a little bit last week on I forget what game it was. I think it was Splinter Cell, saying how they're changing it to be more actiony. Like, yeah, it's good that they're making all these billions of dollars, but it's annoying that everyone else is like, oh, well, everybody likes playing Call of Duty, so we're going to try to make our game like Call of Duty. It's like, you're not Call of Duty, and it's still not going to make your game sell any better. Yeah. I mean, it might a little bit, which is pathetic, but, I mean, don't change your game.
So basically, what you're saying now then is that Activision is pretty much, this is an ego trip more than anything. They're like, here, we'll give you $1 million of the $4,700 billion that you just gave to us for the game, and we'll just flex our muscle a little bit.
I mean, it doesn't cost much to change their games. I mean, they do have two separate two teams that make these games. But they don't have to rework the engine every year. I mean, they're still using the exact same engine they used in the very first Call of Duty on the first PlayStation and Xbox, or second PlayStation and first Xbox. But it's like they just reskin it, put it in a new campaign. I mean, they make so much capital on all of their games because they put in, say, $4 million, $10 million at the most between all the marketing and stuff, and then they get like $40 billion revenue. It's like, well, we can do a lot with our money.
I mean, they figured it out. I mean, they found, how to get to the market they want, and they're going with it. So, I mean, I can't hate on how they're actually doing it. And, it sucks because you see how little effect each one comes out and how little stuff is changing, but I mean, they're making money and they're going to keep doing it until we stop buying. So hopefully, maybe they change the engine or something soon, and it would actually show some improvement. But
yeah, that's definitely great. I mean, how can you argue with the business model?
Exactly.
I mean, every time they put one out, they make multi-billions of dollars off of it and break their own record from the previous years. I mean, what are you going to say? I mean, I'll give them kudos for at least giving $1 million back. At least somebody's going to get it.
Yeah, because I think last year they have a picture of a guy holding up a $400,000 check. It was like a team that won last year. I think that was the winnings, and then this team, this year it's $1 million. So they're just upping it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all pre-selected. I listened to the trailer. It's like 32 teams from around the world have already been selected, and then I guess they'll stream it again. What we were just saying before on like Twitch for all these matches, and then I'm sure they'll have some sort of big thing when it comes down to like the Final Four, and especially the final. They'll try to push that a lot on different media and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is just to me another example of the global takeover that is gaming now.
Yeah.
The fact that they can hold $1 million tournament. Well, to look at it this way, the poker tournament every year, the Big Texas Hold'em tournament pays out what, like 15 million now? Isn't it something in that range? I haven't actually watched it a year or two, but it's something in that neighborhood. Well, think about how much money is invested in gambling and how much money people will spend to try to get good at a game that is left up to chance.
Right.
Whereas they're giving away $1 million, although that is 1/15 of what they're giving away for the poker. They're still giving away $1 million for a skill-based game that, in my lifetime, was considered a toy.
Right.
Was considered something. And I'm dating myself here a little bit, but I remember at one time, the only people who played games were young kids who, literally would ask Santa Claus for it or, something like that. It wasn't taken seriously, and, fast forward a few years, and now we're talking about something that you literally could make your living doing, You know, you could, you know, what if
Yeah,
what if
people
a
do.
team of 5 goes and wins this $1 million? Well, I mean, crap, they're set up for 3, 4, 5 years, you know, I mean, without having to even worry about anything, or they could go invest in a business or pay off their college or, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, so many possibilities. And like I say, when you strip all the fat off of it, we're talking about somebody who sits down and does what we all do every night anyways. You know, that's just, I don't know. It's mind blowing to me because I can still remember sitting down playing the 8-bit Mario and thinking, man, this is an awesome toy. And now we're talking about something people do to make a living. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's unreal when you really get to thinking about it. But
I mean, this isn't even the biggest tournament out there. This is probably the most publicized. But I mean, um, games that like League of Legends and StarCraft, they have multi-million-dollar tournaments, and that's their big one of the year. And they have little smaller, hundred thousands, and $1 or $2 million tournaments just here or there. But I mean, in countries that's a national sport. In South Korea, StarCraft 2 is their national sport. They have schools kids go to learn how to play and get better and have a career professionally playing this. I mean, of course, they have to have a little bit of skill to get into the school, but I mean, still, I mean,
right.
they get
Well,
to
and
sit, play computer games,
right.
and I mean,
And to echo what you're saying, I mean, Kitchen just posted in the chat box that he was watching Optic Nade Shot for 3 hours earlier, and he read an article about him. Said he made over $400,000 playing Call of Duty last year.
It's crazy.
Okay, I'm sorry. That just, I'm not gonna lie, that kind of makes me mad because I feel like I work my ass off every day and I don't clear near that much. I won't tell you how much I make, but it's pretty sad in comparison. And I guarantee you, I'm in a lot worse shape than he is as far as how my body looks and how I function on a daily basis. And you know, this kid gets to sit here and do what I do as a hobby, and he makes more money than I can think about in the next 20 years.
Yeah, I mean that's why I think it's really come into it's an actual e-sport. You know,
yeah,
that's the difference now. Is like people recognize that it's not just as easy as going on and playing a game. I mean, it takes some real practice and skill and commitment to it. So, I mean, I like the fact that it's called esports now because
yeah,
I
Yeah.
mean,
It,
yeah.
from
it
That's what I'm
definitely
saying.
adds a legitimate ring to it. You know, the
Yeah.
way they say it now, it makes it sound like something you really would do. It's not just a hobby anymore.
I mean, yeah, because again, Kitchen posted this because that's not just tournaments won. That's also just endorsements of companies attaching them to this guy. I mean, that's basically now. I mean, that is literally becoming a sport where certain players or teams are getting endorsed by obviously more video game related, and they wouldn't be sponsored by like Dick's or ESPN or obviously not. But I'm like those type of sport. They'd be by like GameStop or I don't know, an energy drink company that is for gamers. I don't
Right.
know. But I mean,
Right.
yeah, they're still
Well,
getting
yeah. I mean,
sponsored.
not Nike is not going to care,
Exactly.
but Doritos. You know, I don't know about
Oh,
you guys,
huge.
but that's a pastime snack of mine when I'm playing games.
Yeah.
And I could see where they
Mountain
could
Dew.
benefit from that. You're directly marketing to your target audience. So, I don't know. It's just it's one of those things where, like, say, for me, when you put it into perspective, it's unreal to think about. You could make, 4 guys could go earn $250,000 a piece for doing something that I pay money to do myself. It's just unreal when you really stop and think about it.
No.
One thing I did want to get to tonight is the question from last week was about consoles and how it's becoming how the focus seems to be that they're pushing towards digital download. And I guess we can say it's not even the focus anymore. PlayStation announced that they are officially doing it, as we discussed last week, to where you won't be able to play used games. So it's pretty
Wow.
obvious digital download only consoles and gaming is where everything is headed. And we left it open for people to leave their response on the forums. And so I did want to take some time here to read a couple of the good responses that were given. Rescue responded with, I don't know if it's really a question. It was more of a question than a thought necessarily, but he posted, would there be a way to share downloads? And obviously we don't know all the details, but that is something that I've thought about too. You know how like a Kindle, how you can like basically loan somebody a book or you can loan it out like 5 times. I kind of picture something like that being what would happen, where you could loan the game to somebody for X amount of days to let them try it, and try to get them to go buy the game then. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I could easily see that being how they promote a game, especially a lower ranked game, that's not highly promoted. That would be a way to get the word out about a certain game.
Yeah.
The other response here that really caught my was Hazy here, and I'll slim hers down a little bit. But one of the things she talked about that to me is one of the reasons to go to it is she talked about how you lose a game. If it's a physical disc, how you could lose the game or it could get broken or scratched beyond repair or something like that. Whereas with a digital download, just like with Steam or anything like that, you can literally, you don't take that risk. If your computer completely dies or the hard drive on your Xbox goes out, well, it's stored in their servers and their database. So all you have to do is re-download it if something happens. So I believe kind of the general consensus here among everybody was that it's has pros and cons both ways. Based upon what I could see, it seems like everybody would probably be leaning towards in favor of it, I guess I'll say. Like Whopper posted, he thinks soon enough it's just going to be built into the TV, kind of like how they're doing with Netflix and Facebook and Hulu, and basically social media is getting built into them and things. So I mean, I could easily see that happening too, to where you don't even buy an external console; it's just built in. Something you download like an app, or something like that. So.
Yeah, those would be very powerful TVs, though.
Yeah, they would have to be heavy, big TVs to handle all that. But
I see what he means.
But I mean, and it is. It's as we discussed last week, it's something to think about because I don't believe there's any question anymore that that's where we're headed.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I have always liked digital download. I mean, even on Steam, you can't buy used games on Steam, and I don't hear really a whole lot of people complaining, "Oh, I can't buy used PC games." I mean, even in stores, you can't buy used games because of all the amount of codes and stuff that comes in the box that you can't reuse, so you can't trade them back in. And I mean, I think people wouldn't mind it if instead of paying $60 for the boxed game, if they took that whole retail side away and everything was just digital, saying we're not doing any retail games. I mean, if a regular game was $40 and say a little game was like $10, $15 that maybe didn't have the same budget as a Call of Duty or a Halo, which would be the new 40. It could be like a little game, and it could be $5 now. I don't think anyone would mind that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I know I wouldn't. If the cost of the games comes down, I can go along with the idea of a digital download, at least rapidly, like it does on Steam, for instance, like how a game immediately when it comes out is $10 cheaper on there a lot of times.
Right.
And then it quickly will decrease in price based upon how much it's getting downloaded. Something like that I'll go along with. And I think that will offset not being able to buy used games. Well, if you can buy the new one for the used price, a month after it's out, well, then you basically doing the same thing anyways.
Yeah. I mean, and this would also guarantee that developers at least get some portion of every game that's sold. Because if, say, they're like the PlayStation 3 thing, which is a rumor still, I still don't want people to get all bent out of shape about that yet. If they do have that on the disc that you can't reuse it, and something came out recently that possibly Xbox has the same type of thing that it's a little bit different. But if you can't buy new games, I would personally rather have the digital version, which even if it's the same copy, I can't scratch it or break it or anything. It's just there, and if I do need to delete it off my hard drive, then I can download it again later with no fee. It's just saved up that I had bought it. It's just not downloaded because I was just looking. Razer put up a concern that there would need to be a massive hard drive in the new consoles, and I know the reported specs is that like the lowest model is 500 gigabytes, which is bigger than any hard drive you can get for your consoles now. So I mean, like even if there is upgraded models like an extra $100 or $200, they could go up to possibly like 2 terabytes of space, and that's plenty of space for the majority of games that you'd buy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if to me, that would be as big a concern because as long as they always have a record that you bought it and you could re-download it,
Mhm.
I don't know if it's something that you necessarily have to worry about, especially, initially. I guess you might eventually get to the point where you don't want to delete a game, especially if you didn't lose information.
Right.
Like if you delete an Xbox 360 game, well, you may lose your save points and your, stuff like that. If you could just delete one and then pick back up later, I don't see as that would really be
Yeah.
a big problem. But that's just me. I guess I don't necessarily mind it if it saves me $1. So,
Right. Like I
um,
know on PlayStation they have that whole PlayStation Plus with the cloud saving, and Steam they have the automatic cloud saving that even if you do delete a game off your hard drive, then it automatically picks it up. And I don't see why they wouldn't automatically put that in both systems for the future.
right. Um, little bit of game news this week. Not as much as it seemed like it was last week, but the main stuff that we have to talk about this week is some game release dates, and some of
Yeah.
them have been delayed since we talked last. Grand Theft Auto 5 is probably one of the major games that has been delayed, and basically what the game maker said was the reason for the delay was that they wanted the game to be right and perfect when it came out. Maybe they didn't use the term perfect, but that's essentially what they meant.
And I can,
That being,
I think I can appreciate that. I mean,
yeah,
it,
exactly. Go
it, it,
ahead.
it really doesn't make me mad if it gets delayed due to the fact that they're trying to make it better. I mean, I would rather them wait and put out a good game than put out this half, worked on game. And I think GTA, we deserve a really good game because all their games are really good. So I'm sure they don't want to disappoint. So.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. They've built a company on quality games and respectable editions of their games when they come out. That's how they've got 5 of their game. Because they're always good. People want to play them and look forward to them. So I'm in the complete same boat. When I saw that one was delayed, I completely trust that they had a good reason behind it.
I mean,
Um,
you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this was the very first release date that they put out, but it was just later than people expected, and then they gave this explanation, right?
to my understanding, yes,
Yeah,
they had
that's what I
already
thought.
they'd already kind of hinted at some release dates, but never nailed one down until this one, and now they've had to delay it. So, I mean, it's just the gamer mentality, the I need it now, I want it now mentality. I'm sure it gets to some people, but I'm completely in Hayden's boat on this one, because the Grand Theft Auto series is one of the best all time, regardless of your personal moral code when it comes to the game. It's still a fantastic game, and I'm completely okay with them holding up to make sure it's a quality title when it comes out.
No, I completely agree as well.
Another game that was announced, and I probably missed this. It was probably announced earlier, but it caught my eye this week. Was Gears of War Judgment is going to be released March 19th, 2013. I personally am not a big Gears of War fan. I'm the type of guy who would go rent it and then play it for a few days and then I'm tired of it. Um, but I know it is a big title for a lot of people that enjoyed that series. So just I guess kind of letting you guys know it is expected to release March 19th.
Not buying that game.
I'm just not a big fan of the third-person shooters, and I don't know, I just could never get into that. I mean, it looks cool, it looks pretty, but
It does. It does.
I mean,
Yeah, I
just
think
can't.
you bring up a very good point. I think that's always been my problem with Gears of War is it feels clunky. I'm used to the smoothness of a Call of Duty first person shooter game. And when I put in Gears of War, I mean, it feels like I'm playing with my feet. I can't move correctly. And I just get sniped or I get my head chopped in half or all the crazy stuff you can do to people in that game. But, I mean, just like the video that's playing now, I mean, like you said, visually, it's one of the most amazing games you can play.
Yeah.
But controller wise and my skill wise, it's terrible for me. For some reason, I've never been able to get into the game.
Oh yeah, it's a very different feel than a Call of Duty because everything has such an immense weight to it, and it's
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest. The only time I've played it for any length of time was when I got on with Waylio on the last one. I got on with him for like 2 or 3 nights just because he's so wild when we play games. He had me laughing, and that was the only reason I was on the game for the amount of time I was on. It was just to listen to him screaming at everything.
I think I do that all the time with games. Like I'll just be like, okay, well this person's gonna get it, so I'm gonna get it. But then I find out that I really hate the game, and then I'm like, shit, I just wasted $60 of my money, and I regret it.
Been there, done that, buddy. I wish I had all the $60 back that I spent on bad games.
Oh yeah.
Another game that was announced. It's actually not necessarily a release date, but some gaming news that I know we discussed last week. My passion for Madden. Some might call it an obsession. They did announce that they're changing the name of the game for apparently they thought it was going to be cool to take a game that is named after the year and change it to Madden 25 to celebrate the 25th anniversary.
This just boggles my mind. I don't understand why they would change it at this point. Like, so I saw this commentary earlier about it. Like, why? What happens when we get to 2025? Like, what are they gonna do? Like, they're gonna skip over that year or what? I mean, it's just
I guess then it's gonna be Madden 43 anniversary. Every year that's gonna. I'm with you on this one, Hayden. This one boggles my mind.
I just don't see why they don't just do something like 2014 25th anniversary. Like
exactly. Why wouldn't you just call it Madden 14, the 25th anniversary edition?
Or they could even monetize it more. Have Madden 14 as like the basic model, and then have like if you spend $20, $40 more, you could have the 25th anniversary edition of Madden 14.
Yeah, they've done that in the past.
Exactly.
I thought that was a fan. Give you an alternate cover. An extra book with it, 2 or 3 other things you think you need when you're going to pay an extra $40.
Have like a statue or something. I don't know.
And yeah, exactly. I mean, I'd be just as happy with a pack of chewing gum in it or something. I'd feel like I got more money than some of that junk I've got laying around. But
exactly.
But I mean, this is one of those things where Activision said, "Okay, we're going to give $1 million tournament." EA said, "Okay, we're just going to change our name and confuse the hell out of everybody." That's how we're going to throw our weight around.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So, anyways, enough about that debauchery of a situation.
Yeah.
Let's hope the physics engine's different this time, so I don't keep tripping over my linemen.
What? That was the best part of the game. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, that was what made me keep playing with all the bad gameplay was just to watch the afterplay stuff.
Oh, okay. As long as you keep that.
And anybody who's wondering how bad Nam is, I did make a video back when we were playing that regularly of me putting beating on him.
See, I had this queued up. I was gonna play it. On this, but you said before to cut it out. Oh, jeez.
Okay, blame Hated for not being able to view this right now.
Well, we'll just let people go and laugh at Nam's expense on their own time. How
it's
about
good.
that?
I laugh at myself. It's an enjoyable video.
I actually don't have much information on the next game myself, so I will let you guys fill me in on this one because I don't play the game so much. But Splinter Cell is another release date. I know we talked about this a little bit, I think, in the last show, but it's a game that apparently a lot of people are pumped about. I got a feeling.
Do we know the release date?
I honestly don't. This was a late addition to the show tonight, so it was just one of those. I'm sure there's some news on it, but I haven't actually been able to see it myself. I guess more what I wanted to talk about that game for is just because I know so many people are looking forward to it. I thought it'd be a good idea to keep mentioning it every week, apparently, so that way people stay excited about it. And it's probably going to be one of those games like Hayden was talking about. I'll go get $60 for it because everybody else buys it, and then I'm going to say piss on this game and put it on eBay or something.
60. No, not 60. It's not the date. August 20th, 2013 is when it comes out.
Okay, so that's close.
Well, they did push it back. It was going to come out like May-ish, and then they did the same. Oh, well, it's not quite ready in the time frame that we had originally set. We want to make it better, i.e. people started complaining about it, and so we're pushing it back. But
well, and the other important news about it is it and Modern Warfare 4. Don't worry, people, we're not going to talk too much about it yet. I know
Modern Warfare.
Yeah,
That's
Modern
what I'm calling
Warfare. Modern Warfare 4. Don't make fun of my radio voice. Splinter Cell and Modern Warfare 4 come out later on in the year, and possibility of them being a dual system game, meaning dual generation game, I should say, for 360 and 720. The reason I wanted to discuss this was because I guess I kind of wanted to hear a little feedback from the community on the conflict that this could cause, because I don't, based upon what we talked about last week with the poll that we had up on what people are planning on buying, obviously the next Xbox is what most people intend to buy. But do we know yet if the 360 and 720 people will be able to play on the same servers together? Just the 320 or the 360 will have bad graphics compared to 720, or do we know any information about that yet?
Well, no, but this is the first new generation that will be completely online. Like the PS2 and Xbox, some games were online, but there wasn't the whole entire like Eco, Xbox Live, PSN systems yet that were really working. But yeah, now that we've gone through all this, I assume our gamer tags will be the same, our gamer scores, trophies, all that stuff will be transferred up. But I don't know if we'll be able to go back and play those same games.
I just wish that one day, even if the consoles weren't unified, like it played the same games or whatever. I just wish we can all play on the same online service. That's always boggled me. Like, why can't I play against the same Call of Duty people that play on PS3? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I just don't like the monopoly of like restricting who can play each other online. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, didn't they have it for a while? I never did participate myself because at the time I didn't have a PC worth playing games on. But didn't they have it at one time where there were a few games you could play on Xbox 360 and play people that were playing on PC at the same time? Like you could cross-platform that way?
I remember there was one. I cannot remember what it was called, but it was a first-person shooter, and they did that between PS3 and PC, but not Xbox. I don't know why. And they shut that down real quick because the PS3 people, I think just that in particular, those two communities are so drastically different in their skill. Just the PC people with the mouse and keyboard for first-person shooter just pooped on them, and none of the PS3 people like playing it, so they shut down the cross servers and just put up two separate ones, which was cheaper for them.
I mean, I guess I could see that, but I could also see where that could actually expand a game. To me, and I guess it's not up to the game makers. I guess that's up to the console people.
Right.
But I mean, in my opinion, I would think that would actually extend the life of a game if, well, take our situation right now, for instance. If I'm wanting to play PC, and we'll just take a random TOA member, say Zero is wanting to play, or Snooky now, sorry, apologize. He changed his name again. But say he's wanting to play on Xbox 360. It would actually do me a favor and him, I guess, if he's really wanting to play with me, to be able to cross those platforms because I don't play on the 360 as much. Therefore, because I can't cross-platform, I'm not paying for Black Ops 2 again on my PC. Whereas if I was able to cross-platform, I might own it on 2 or 3 systems.
And,
You know,
and
Well-
I think that's it right there. And you just hit it on the business model that we were talking about earlier. I mean, they don't want you to be able to just buy it on one system. They want you to have to buy it on all of them to play with it.
well,
I mean,
yeah, that's a good point. I guess that would actually shoot themselves in the foot.
Right.
Then, because
Like-
that would make me not want to go buy a console if I could play it on my PC anyway. So, yeah, good point. Yeah, completely ignore the last 30 seconds of my rambling.
Well, the one thing I do like is like cross saves between all platforms, like the Need for Speed Most Wanted, I believe, game that just came out recently from EA. Since they have the EA Origin service that's just owned by them, if you save it to this like cloud EA Origin server, but from your Xbox, PS3, PC, and even like the mobile games like iPad, iPhone, Vita stuff, they're all basically the same game, just with a little bit different graphic quality. But you can transfer your like overarching wanted score between all of them and unlock certain things that comes with having a higher wanted score. So say I play, but the thing is you have to buy the game every single time to access that on whatever platform you want it. Like I got it for Xbox and I really enjoyed the game. And I was like, oh, maybe I'd want to see it prettier on PC since my save transfers, but then I was thinking, oh, I had to pay another $60 to have that experience on my PC. So I was like, well, no, I'm not buying this game twice. So I mean, I like that model, but I obviously I prefer to buy it on one and then play it everywhere.
Right. Like I say, I guess the sensitive gamer in me um, would prefer them cross-platform games, but I see what Hated saying too. I mean, they'll never do that because unless they figure out a way for them all to get paid off of every copy of something sold, there's no way they're going to do that. So that's just me being a crybaby about it, I guess.
Um,
Um,
I know whoever played Portal 2 that they actually did this with um, that as well. But again, it was between the PS3 and the PC. Is you could link your Steam account to your PC to play with or compare scores. I don't know exactly how it worked. Um, to see what friends were online on Steam on your PS3 and vice versa. You could sign in with your PlayStation account on Steam and see what friends were online playing that particular game on if you're on your PC as well, which I thought that was interesting.
That's a good idea right there. I mean, even if it wasn't to where we could play the same games, as long as they had like a service, like Xbox is made by Microsoft, which has, Windows. I mean, it just seems like it should be integrated to where maybe there's Skype on Windows or on the Xbox, and we can get in a Skype conversation for people that are on PC and the people that are on
Yeah.
Xbox, something like that.
I was actually wondering that one time because I was playing a PC game, but I was actually had my Xbox on and was talking to people on Xbox. Like, why wouldn't they just have like even on their website, go to the website and you could like talk to people through that over Xbox Live. Like, I can send messages from my phone or my computer to Xbox, but I can't talk to people. And I just always found that like annoying.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, just as Hated said, they actually released a game recently that I thought, well, some people might be interested in. It's a turn-based strategy game. It's called Skulls of the Shogun. It's an interesting. I downloaded the demo, but you can get it on. It's like a Microsoft exclusive. It's not just Xbox Live. You can get it on Xbox Live, Windows 8 Game Center thing. I don't know. Windows Phone and the Windows Surface tablet. So you can play on all those platforms with each other, but not out. Like, you can't buy it on Steam, and you can't buy it on like iOS or Android. It's only Windows 8. But at least that service, since Microsoft owns so many different things, I thought that was interesting by itself.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it could open the door to more,
Yeah.
things like that. The next thing I wanted to get to is the next generation consoles, and I know we talked about this last week, but they did have a PS4 teaser trailer come out, and I wanted to hear you guys' feedback on that. What do you think about that?
It was short, and there wasn't a lot in it, so I'm gonna hold my judgment just yet. I mean, I was an original PlayStation, player. Like, I wasn't on Xbox and stuff like that. So I hope it's good. I have a lot of friends that still play it. I don't know if I'll buy it again. I did go over there for a while on PS3. I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the Xbox, but hopefully it's good. Maybe I can get that for Madden instead of the new Xbox. Who knows?
Well, I mean, part of the reason I guess I brought this up was to kind of feed some discussion on what Microsoft will do to follow the teaser trailer here and all the announcements about the PlayStation 4 coming out.
Yeah.
What do you guys think they're going to try to do to compete?
I mean, I think they're going to wait until after the conference, and then either after or like right before, like a week or two, they'll release their own teaser trailer to try to distract, because they can't let it go on for too long. Even if they wait until after the conference, they can't wait 6 months or really anything more than 1 or 2 before because after this comes out, then people will have the opportunity to finally tell what next gen games they're working on. I mean, like, there's all these studios that haven't said anything, especially like at the last E3 or even in recent months, of what they're working on, because they can't say like, oh, we're working on this new game, but it's coming out on some systems that might happen in the future. Like, they can't say that. Well, because that's
Right.
obviously saying, oh, there's a new PS4, Xbox 720. Like, some games, obviously, first party will all announce, or some will announce for the PS4, but some third party will too. And then there'll be the questions like, we're coming out for the PS4 and maybe other game. maybe other consoles, and they can't say that because it's not announced yet. So they don't want too many third-party games to come out before they get their foot in the ring.
Well, and what you're saying is exactly what happened to me. The whole reason I own an Xbox 360 is because I got tired of waiting for the PS3. I was like hated. I was a PS2 fanboy, and I didn't own original Xbox or anything like that. All I had was a PS2. Played the crap out of it, but once that next gen back then came out, it was like, okay, well, I know the PS3 is going to happen. It's going to have to happen at some point. Well, then they just kept delaying it, and they kept having problems. Well, then the 360 games started coming out, and it was like, okay, they're looking pretty cool, so I can't wait to see what PS3 is going to do. Well, then for me, it was Dead Rising. When I saw a commercial for Dead Rising, I'm a zombie buff, like we've talked about before. When I saw the previews for that, I basically told my wife, I was like, all right, I got to go get one. I can't stand it anymore. I was like, I want to play that game so bad. I was like, and now that I know it's not going to be on PlayStation, I got to go get it. So, long story short, that's how TOA was born. In reality, that's when
Comes down to Dead Rising.
Yes, you all can thank Dead Rising for the whole deal here. But I mean, that's a good point. I mean, if you wait too long, just like me in my situation, if PlayStation 4 starts pumping all this stuff out and getting people excited, and Microsoft sits here and kind of drags their feet a little bit, we might see the tables turn, But I mean, it's not a secret. Gamers have short attention spans.
Yeah.
I mean, it's if you're dragging your feet, and they have short attention spans, but they're also impatient. And if you are seeing all this cool stuff and your buddies start talking about it, and this guy's talking about this game, and Xbox is sitting there going, well, we don't even know when ours is going to come out. There's going to be a lot of people go ahead and drop that money they were saving for a 720 on a PS4.
Yeah. The funny thing is actually the video I actually just showed a little bit ago. There was an actual part of this video that talked about PS3 actually going to wait for the 720 to come out first.
Yeah. I remember them saying that.
I mean, that's a possibility. The PS3 again will wait until after the Xbox comes out.
Well, I think because he originally, the worldwide leader of Sony, came out and said we're not announcing. Again, obviously this isn't true now. We aren't announcing our specs of what we're going to do with the next PlayStation until we hear from Microsoft what they're doing, so maybe we could change. But you can't change specs at this late in the game.
You're going to be so late at it that, I mean, you're not going to be able to do anything to make it better.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, if they wait, I don't think they have to release before Xbox. Even if it's a week before the Xbox 720 comes out, they have to release this time. Because, I mean, not the saying the 360 wasn't going to do as well as they did, but at the time, the PS2 crushed the original Xbox, and the PS1 was huge coming onto the scene. So they really had the ball in their court, and they waited for an entire year, waited for all those exclusives, lost people like Spears to games that had come out, will eventually come out on both platforms, but they're just so late. They really gave Xbox that push that they really didn't need to give them in the first place.
I mean, people blame, 360 for the decline of Sony and the PlayStation platform, and it being really second fiddle, and if not third, really, to the Wii. I mean, the Wii was highly successful.
I mean, the Wii sold probably the best.
Right, and I mean, they blame the 360 and all this stuff, and really it was Sony's fault. Because people were already calling for a new system long before they ever announced they were even working on it. I specifically remember part of what made me go ahead and get a 360 was I saw the commercial for Dead Rising, logged on to read about the PS3 to see if they were going to have the game, and at that point, they were still not even announcing a date for the PS3.
Right.
And it was like, wow, you're not even talking about the game. You're just talking about, you don't even know when the system is going to come out, much less what games you're going to have.
Yeah. I mean,
so for me, it's a thing of Sony can only blame themselves for what's happened to Sony. And I mean, 360 saw their shot and they took it. Microsoft saw it and they took it. And even with that bad hardware, that initial 2 or 3 year period when everybody's Xboxes were bricking, it seemed like every 3 weeks somebody was getting on the TOA forums going, "Yep, red ringed again. I'll be back in a couple of months." Or I remember Murph, man, that dude had some of the worst luck with Xboxes I've ever seen.
I mean, even recently, well, not super recently, but like 2 months ago, his red ringed again.
I mean, that guy either plays his an insane amount of time, or he, just like I say, I mean, that's just testament to how good the 360 really is at its core.
Yeah.
That we all put up with that crap and still kept playing a 360 for as long as we have.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
because probably everyone's broke at least once before the PlayStation came out. I mean,
exactly. I mean, if we'd bought a car and it tore up like that, we'd be up there scalping somebody. I
Yeah.
mean, it would. I mean, just to be honest about it. But because it's games, this goes along with the gamer mentality. Of needing the hot thing, the cool thing, and we just put up with it and kept
Yeah.
playing. It's like, okay, well, I'll wait my month, and I'll pay them their $100 that they wanted, in the initially when they were making us pay to get it fixed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just as far as what I think they're gonna do next. One thing, I guess it's not even what I think. This is actually something Nam brought up before we went live, was that they have announced that the Xbox 720 will have to be continually connected to the internet, so that it can basically, from what I understand, Nam, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is it basically saying that if you disconnect it, you may not get updates or important things for the game?
No, it was. Well, again, this is a rumor. Obviously, nothing's been announced yet, but it's come from a semi-reputable source. I think it's Edge.com, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what it is. Saying that the Xbox 720, you will need to be connected to play games. Like, you'll need an online. Like, you won't. It'll. When you log in at the beginning, and if you don't, it just says, "Oh, you're not online," but you can still play stuff. Like,
Right.
this would require you to log into an Xbox Live account, whether it be. I think it would have to be gold, but I think silver or gold, and you have to be logged in order to even access the dashboard, like play even offline single player games. Again, this is I don't think they'll actually end up doing this, but as of right now, let's just say they are, because I mean, you guys are running with the PS4 is going to have no used games, and that's still not confirmed yet. So let's just say this is confirmed too. And like it's obviously has good and bad things. They do it for sales, having games that require online. Pretty much everyone's putting online in their games already, and also not pirating games. That's just another DRM thing. If you're always connected to the internet, you have even activate it once.
Well, I mean, to me, the base of this idea is Microsoft Money Machine forcing you to pay for a yearly or monthly subscription. That's all. That's what this is going to boil down to. They're going to make everybody pay $60 a year. Whereas now you have the option, or if you don't want to pay for it for 3 or 4 months, you have that option. Now it's basically you're going to have a huge paperweight if you don't pay for it. If this is what they go with. So yes, I'm sure there'll be some gamers up in arms, but at the same time, just like with everything else that they try to make us gamers do, if we really want it, we'll pay for it, and we're not going to say, we'll bitch to each other, but we're not going to, we'll still pay for it.
I mean,
just like with everything else.
They raised the amount of money that Xbox Live costs. What wasn't it usually used to be $50? Now it's $60. Like, we can't say no. We're not going to pay for this to have all this stuff. I mean, we're going to spend the $10 extra, even though we're not going to like it.
Well,
right, exactly.
I know that.
I think they're gonna. The thing, if they do this, is they're gonna limit how many sales they get, because I mean, it's not only adults and late teens that buy Xbox 360s. Like, I mean, I have a cousin that's 5. He's playing Xbox. His mom doesn't want him on a internet. I mean, it's kind of fishy.
Good for her.
I'm just saying, like, I think they're gonna restrict who's actually gonna be buying an Xbox 360, which is gonna hurt them. And more people's gonna go to the Wii.
Good point.
For kids. So,
oh boy.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
it's a kid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's actually a valid point, because I mean, not everybody that owns an Xbox has to play a mature rated game. There are some people that just play Xbox Live Arcade games, or or even just the little simple, I don't know, Disney games and things like that. So I mean, they really are going to limit their market if they go to a model like that.
That's true. I mean, but to be honest, if both of the HD twins, not the Wii, that they're in their own category, but like the Sony and Microsoft, if they not come together, but if they have an understanding that they're going to go online only for both of them and no used games for both of them, the only other place to turn is the Wii, but they're not going to have all the new games. So you have online only, because I like how Steam does it. To play your game initially, you have to initially connect and download all the correct codes, but then you can play it offline after that, which I think that might be what they mean if this even comes up. has to be connected. Like you have to be connected initially when you put in the game, so it makes sure you have all the legitimate stuff. But like
Well,
then you have no place to turn for the new AAA games. Like you want to play Call of Duty, you have to be online. I mean, obviously you're not gonna. I mean, unless you want to play multiplayer, obviously, which is the big draw. You're going to be online anyway. But I mean, you won't have any place to turn to buy used games if they all agree, because PC already doesn't have it. And if these two agree to not have them at all, be it even disc or just all digital, then you're just going to have to put up with it.
exactly. I mean, and honestly, this might be a good one for our question for next week, for next week's show. We'll go with this one. Assuming that this is what they go with, since now I made it a point to make sure that this isn't confirmed for anybody who didn't hear it. It's not confirmed yet.
Not confirmed. Same with the PS4 on disc thing. It's not confirmed.
We'll
Please
just,
stop telling me that it is confirmed.
For argument and discussion's sake, we'll pretend it's confirmed.
Right.
If the 720 has to be continually connected, does that change whether you get the next console or not? Especially for the ones who answered that that's the that's what they plan on buying with the next gen stuff, is a 720. Does that change your opinion or change whether you're going to buy it or not? So we'll roll that. We'll let that be the question for next week.
Right.
Running short on time here. We're getting here towards the end of the show. One fun thing Hated brought up that we might do this week is talk about some of the new movies. I know there's a lot of people on the forums and NTOA that are movie buffs. I personally don't keep up with new movies a whole lot, simply because, as you've probably picked up from tonight's live show, I'm kind of a tight ass, so I don't go to the theater and spend a lot of money on them.
You just like calling yourself a tight ass.
Yes, it's nice to call myself a tight ass. I guess. Whoa, yeah.
Don't get
take
any
that out of
ideas,
context. But I personally don't go to the new movies much. Watch them in theaters. I guess I do watch one every once in a while. I mean, I wouldn't say I never do, but I'll put it in perspective. The last one I paid for was American Wedding, and I don't remember the one before that.
That is...
Yeah,
Whoa.
exactly. So I guess Hated, since you brought it up, I guess I'll let you tell us about some of the new movies that are coming out.
Well, I mean, there's two that I'm spotlighting based on some of the games we play. I thought these might be something people are interested in. As Kitchen right now on the shout box is saying, Zero Dark 30, which you guys are seeing now. It's about how they found Bin Laden. So it's a pretty cool movie, I heard. I haven't got to see it yet. I want to go see it. It's supposed to be pretty good, and it's military and action based. So I'm sure people will like it.
I'm sorry, I just read what Achilles posted in the chat box. I apologize for laughing out loud. I won't.
We can't.
Because I don't want this.
We can't repeat
forever
that.
recorded.
You can probably read it, but we're not repeating it.
One movie that I have seen previews for that looks interesting, I guess I'll leave it at that, is Warm Bodies. It doesn't really look like my cup of tea, but when they say zombie, I do perk up a little bit. So
okay, so this is what I'm thinking on this movie, and this is why I put it up here. So everyone in TOA knows that Valentine's Day is next weekend or next week.
Yeah.
This would be a perfect Valentine's movie. It has zombies. It has like a love story for your girl, or whatever. If you want a nice evening, it's perfect.
Or your guy. We're not judging.
Yeah, no judge. But I mean, it's perfect. I mean, you can go see this crazy looking film and still have a good time. So I put it up here.
And that way, when it's over and your girlfriend or wife, whoever is mad at you, you can say, "But honey, I thought it was going to be a great movie for Valentine's Day. I thought you would genuinely enjoy it."
Just blame Hated. It's fine. But Hated told me it was the perfect Valentine's Day. There was a love thread in it somewhere. Come on.
Hey,
The previews definitely look insane. I'll give it that.
He's cured by love. I mean, that's perfect for Valentine's Day. I mean,
it doesn't get more fitting than that. Okay, so a question I will ask you then, since we're talking about movies, what is your favorite all-time movie? What would you say is your ultimate? If you were on an island and could only watch one movie, what would it be?
Well, mine.
One movie for the rest of your life. Go.
I love Anchorman, and you guys see it on screen now. It just all around pretty funny movie. So that's mine one if I had to put it down. And guess what? Anchorman 2. Anchorman 2 is coming soon. Coming soon.
Oh, I cannot wait. Oh, that's gonna be that will be one I might cough up the money to go see. I gotta say that. I
That'll
might
be
go
your
pay.
one of the year.
Yeah, that was she one of the year. I wish I went to one a year. It's like one every 3 years. Um, I will probably say my all-time favorite movie. I know most people are going to assume it's Godfather. Although that is one of my top two or three movies. Probably my all-time favorite movie is Pulp Fiction.
Mm-hmm. Good movie.
Just that movie had it all. It had comedy. It had Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, really, what else? Can you
That's it.
no, I'm just a huge fan of Tarantino movies. Just the craziness of his movies, and how he can take a movie and make it socially important. You know, and just I mean, how many times have we heard lines out of that movie repeated? I repeat them all the time. So I'm probably going to say Pulp Fiction. Honorable mention would probably go to Braveheart for me. For some reason, that movie has just stuck with me. I do have a Scottish heritage in my family, so I guess I'll blame it on that. But it's that movie for all the gore and glory that was in that one. I really enjoyed it.
Well, now I have a lot to think about, but no, my probably all-time favorite movie. I've always liked science fiction type movies, and I actually just recently saw this like 2 days ago again. Blade Runner. Not quite sure when it came out, but I love that movie. I always like watching it and think how people thought the future, because it's supposed to be set in like 2013 or 2012, and it's like we're on different planets and we have hover cars and we have these like we're in these super high sky rises and the world is horrible and but I mean other worlds are nice, but Earth is now horrible and it's just a great thread. It actually has an engaging story. I personally really enjoy that movie, but I don't know. Actually, of all Tarantino movies, now that I'm thinking about it, the first one I saw, and I think that's why I like it the most. Even though I do love Pulp Fiction, I like Reservoir Dogs, which is like the
amazing movie.
Yeah.
that came right before it. I love that movie.
Oh yeah, that one's fantastic. See, this is why I hate naming my favorite movie, because after I said it, I'm second guessing myself. Because it's like I did love Pulp Fiction, but man, if I sit here and thought about all the movies
Or Star Wars.
No, get out of here. Tarantino and Star Wars should not be said in the same sentence.
Well, I like Star Wars. Fine.
Whoa, you're treading murky waters right there, Spears. You better.
Yeah, I know.
We're on Twitch.tv right now, guys.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If I say anything more about Star Wars, the chat box is probably going to break. So
it'll just break.
Yeah, it'll just break in half, fall off of the screen.
Django. That was actually the last movie I saw in theaters.
Yeah,
so
that was a great movie.
Django, that's another one that I will probably wait and just buy it when it comes out because I want to watch it 3 or 4 times.
Love it.
Did you guys see the Tarantino like box set? Is every movie he's ever made before Django, in like a box set, and it was like $50. I was like,
nice.
What better box set of movies
gift.
could you get?
There we go. There's if you don't want to go see Warm Bodies, get the Tarantino box gift. It's settled. There you go, guys.
Those are much better Valentine's Day movies.
Exactly. He adds love stories into his.
Sometimes.
Can I just call two things out? Two things out. I know we got to go soon. Walking Dead is Sunday.
Walking Dead.
The half a season is over. It's going to be a good one. Just to let you guys know.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It was a good first half. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I will probably take a verbal beating over this, but as much as I enjoy zombie movies and things, I lost interest in that show. About 3 weeks into the second season.
See, but the second season, it's such a good payoff. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you, but it was. I also felt it was a very slow. It felt like Dragon Ball Z. Nothing happened in like 6 episodes. I mean, come on. But I mean, okay, that's a bad comparison. I'm sorry. I take that back.
Yeah, no, I don't know where you were going with that one.
No, anyway, but it was slow. They didn't move around a lot, obviously. Not quite as much action as the first season. But if you get through that, that makes the third season really good.
I will say this. My biggest problem with The Walking Dead, and I know, Hayden, you brought this up because you love it, and I'm just bashing on it now. But I really enjoyed the first season and could not wait for the second season. And I was to the point where I was ready for the dang kid to die because they drug that out so long to start the second season. It was to the point I literally was. I was like, would this little boy just hurry up and die so we can move on to a new story? And that's what killed it for me. It just seemed like they were really dragging out that whole story to a point of nausea for me. So I just gave up on it. And then everybody was like, oh, if you'd waited 2 more weeks, it got a lot better. So I'll probably have to go back and try to pick it back up.
You should at least try to finish it. I mean,
yeah.
My favorite character died this season, so you know who it is. He didn't have very many lines.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But the thing about it is, it is really one of those shows where it builds and builds and builds and builds, and then at the end it just hits, and that's why I love that show. I mean, it is slow. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's every episode there's at least one zombie kill or whatever, but the last two episodes of the season are usually dead on and crazy, chaotic, and it's really I love it.
Did either of you play the Walking Dead games?
I played one episode and I haven't gotten the others.
I played all 5, and I can actually say they're better written than the TV show.
Oh, nice.
Whoa,
that's a big claim
well,
right there.
But I mean, also the graphic novel, comic books. Let's just be honest. Graphic novel is also it's a little bit different, but also better written than the TV show is.
Yeah,
like if you really like Walking Dead, but the TV show quite isn't your thing, try like the first. Either play the game, which is great, or try reading some of the Walking Dead. It has a little bit different feel. I mean, obviously it's the same universe, so it's close. But I personally prefer those two over the show. But I still love the show somehow. Well, not a lot of people do. If they like the other two, then like the show. But I actually do like the show still.
Well, talking of books, have you guys watched Game of Thrones on HBO? Do you guys get into that at all?
Yes.
Going back to the whole me being poor and being tight thing, no, I don't have HBO. So
okay, well,
I haven't seen a whole lot of it since I don't have HBO. I just watch it at friends' houses, but I've seen the majority of the first season. I liked it. I just can't access it.
It's a great show. I mean, it's one of the best shows I've watched on HBO or any channel. So, it's real good. I bought the season for real cheap, so that's what I would do if you guys didn't have HBO. But it's worth a buy for the whole season. So
I personally, I'm biased because I have kind of become a Netflix whore. I'll say since I don't have cable. I got tired of paying $60 or $70 a month and decided I'd spend that on games that I wouldn't play long. But I'm a fan of Sons of Anarchy. That's my show. And what's funny is it took to like the 4th season was coming out before I even started watching it, and everybody was just wearing me out like, dude, you got to watch Sons of Anarchy. It's awesome. You know I'm into the biker culture and things like that. I guess just kind of the outlaw hint. That's where the name came from, the outlaw mentality. Yeah. And everybody was like, dude, you got to give it a shot. And I was like, I'll get to it one of these days. I don't have time to watch shows, blah, blah, blah. Man, I watched one episode, and I literally watched 3 seasons in like 2 weeks. I couldn't stop. It was like every episode, when it was over, I was like, all right, I got to see what happens next. And it'd be like 2 a.m. I'd be crusty-eyed, like needing to go to bed because I had to work, and I just couldn't turn it off. So that's my show. I'll leave it at that. Sons of Anarchy is my show. So
nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for letting me get in that little piece of TV and movie entertainment.
Yeah. I was trying to save something for the next show.
I'll get some more for next time.
Okay. All right. You heard it. He's going to be the guy coming up with everything for next week. So blame him.
Yep.
Oh, and I did want to let everybody know too. I have Nam's email address for anybody that wants to send him hate mail over his statement about the game being better than the show on Walking Dead.
Okay.
Just send me a private message if you need it.
Yeah, you can hit me up on. Oh, please. If you think the show's better, you haven't read the books, the graphic.
All right,
I want
guys.
legitimate hate mail. Not. I haven't read them, but I like the TV show so much. I'm sending you hate mail anyway. I don't want that.
Guys, it's been a blast again tonight. I hope everybody has enjoyed listening tonight. I believe we pretty well got to everything we needed to for this week. We've toyed with the idea of bumping the time back. I think for at least one more week, we're going to leave it at 10 o'clock on Wednesday night, 10 o'clock Central, sorry, 10 o'clock Central on Wednesday night, and see how it goes. And we may be, you keep an eye on the forums because we may be changing that up a little bit. And if you guys have any topics you want us to discuss on the show or any ideas or anything like that, send us a private message or post them in the TOA media area. We're always open to what you guys want to hear. That's the whole point of us doing this, is so it's entertaining for you guys. So if there's ever anything you want to talk about or hear us talk about, let us know. Like I say, that's what the forums are for.
Two things. Kitchen just reminded everyone, don't forget to enter the contest of what TOA means to you. That you can look that thread up. It's a good read of what everyone's posted so far, but keep putting those in there until we get, if not everybody, but just the vast majority of people in TOA. And since we had a question anchoring last week's question, live show, we want to do that again. So what we talked about a little bit of before, just a reminder, having the 720 continually connected, so you always have to have an internet connection to play anything. What are your thoughts on that? Is it good? Maybe not. Is it bad? Just post your opinions. I'll be putting a thread up soon after we wrap up, so people can start posting.
All right. Well, guys, that's been the show for this week. Look forward to getting back on here next week and shooting the bull with you guys. Until next week, this is TOA Godfather, and for TOA Hated and TOA Nomicide, we are out.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.